Hello everyone, I'm Candace and you can find me at eclecticcoach.com. I do two different types of coaching. I do course completion coaching, which is where I will help you not only complete the online course that you've signed up for, whether it's a class in photography or marketing or some sort of business course, whatever kind of class it is. I will help you not only follow through on it, but apply it to areas of your life that are meaningful and important to you. Because we often attempt to learn something because we want to create something, or perhaps you need to make a change in your career and it's time to retool. Let me help you stay the course and celebrate your successes, big and small. This will really help you maintain momentum and focus and enjoy the whole process, and also help you just get the most out of the course that you've signed up for and paid all this money for. We're having to be self-directed learners right now. Many of us are online, and we need social support, and that's what I'd love to give you. I also do Intuitive Transformational Coaching. So we do intuitive skill building, and then I help you not only tune into the guidance that you're receiving from your spirit guides, your angels, your higher power, whatever that looks like for you, but I help you follow through on that. And when you follow through on the guidance that you receive, it becomes clearer when you're being guided versus receiving wishful thinking or paranoia or something like that. And it helps you really go deeper into your spiritual practice and make powerful shifts and transformations in your life. Because each one of us, I believe, are on a unique path, and we have a highly individualized curriculum for our souls that we're learning. So this can really help you feel connected and supported no matter where you are in life and no matter what you're going through. So visit me at eclecticcoach.com, and if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And one of the things I want to talk about in this video is some things that you can do to speed up and enhance the learning process. So I'll just jump right into it, because there are some things that we can do to prime our brains to learn more effectively and to experience more success. And we really need to be intentional about how we're setting up our environment and some of the things that we do prior to taking an online class, so that we have an easier time of it. So one of the things that you can do is hypnosis. So there's all kinds of free videos and recordings online, and I was just listening to one of my favorite, I think he's a neurobiologist or a cognitive neuroscientist, I believe. His name's Dr. Andrew Huberman. And he talks about how he uses hypnosis on a daily basis. And one of the things that hypnosis can do is really help you reprogram your subconscious mind. So if you have any previous blocks related to something that perhaps happened in childhood or some other learning environment where you feel like you're having trouble absorbing the information, or you are experiencing some fear or self-doubt, this is a really great way to rewrite the tapes that are going on in our subconscious mind that could be running interference. And what I love about hypnosis, and I've done a lot of hypnosis, I got certified in hypnosis, is how customizable it is. So you can create your own hypnosis recording. If you don't want to listen to somebody else's, just make sure to include, and perhaps I'll make another video about how to do hypnosis for yourself. But be sure to include a relaxation induction to help you really relax the mind, perhaps do like a body progressive relaxation sequence, and And hypnosis will help you make suggestions to your subconscious mind. And it is amazing what you'll see happen in your physical reality in response to the shifts and changes that you make within. So consider using hypnosis to imagine yourself either completing the course, getting a good grade, following through and applying the material to something important to you, releasing any fears, any self-sabotaging behaviors, anything like that can be improved with hypnosis. I found that the key with hypnosis, and I've also been doing, as I go to sleep at night, I've been playing affirmations that just run for about 8 hours. And I've really noticed personally that when I do that, I wake up feeling very different than I do when I don't do those things. It's like I'm setting myself up to just feel better and have a better day. So consider affirmations or hypnosis. And I find that it's most helpful when you do it on a consistent and regular basis, because you're essentially reprogramming your subconscious mind, and that's helpful with repetition. And then the next thing is meditation, and I made another video on how to stay consistent with your meditation practice, so feel free to check that out. But what meditation does, and I personally do transcendental meditation twice a day, for about 20 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes in the evening. And one of the things that meditation does is that it resets the mind. And I recommend some sort of meditation that gives silence to your mind. There's a line in the Course in Miracles, one of my favorite spiritual texts, and it's that sacred silence writes the universe. And so when we put ourselves in this silent space, we are resetting our brain, and you can even feel it like on a palpable level, the reset that happens prior to meditation and then after. And you find that your mind is just much more clear, you feel more centered, you feel more grounded, it calms the monkey mind and gets it to just chill out for a little bit. And even the rest itself repairs the brain and the body. So that's one of the things that I found to be so helpful with TM in particular, is how I think I've read somewhere that it's the equivalent of 3 hours of sleep. Now, it's not a replacement for sleep, it's a supplement to sleep. But if I didn't get very much rest the night before and I meditate, it helps so much. And that rest helps the brain and your cells and all that stuff repair. And so it's really helpful for learning. And there's been numerous studies, you can check it out on the tm.org website, where peer-reviewed studies, by the way, from the most well-respected research institutions in the world, suggesting that it improves cognition and it improves creativity and problem solvability and all kinds of things that it improves. So consider getting a meditation practice to kind of go alongside whatever online course that you're taking. And then the next thing is, obviously, some of these things are kind of common sense, but feed yourself lots of healthy food. There's a lot of, like, avocados have really good fat in them that are healthy for the brain. Eggs have a certain chemical in them that improve memory. There's different kinds of, like, tree nuts that are great for the brain. And if you have the means, and if you can, consider getting a like a hair analysis where they do like a mineral test on your hair, and it can show you what minerals and vitamins you personally are deficient in, and that's a great way to improve the clarity of your mind. And then water. So when we become dehydrated, and I found this out from, I think her name's Chris Carr, she wrote Crazy Sexy Cancer on one of her posts. You can tell if you're dehydrated by pinching your hand, and depending on, oh yeah, I need to drink some water. Depending on how slowly it goes down, that's an indication of if you are dehydrated or not. And so if you also mix like lemon water or lemon in your water, it's very alkalinizing, and because we want our body to be alkaline and not super acidic. And if I found too that if you pair like water or something that you enjoy, like, I guess water isn't something that people always like drinking, but if you pair what your like a study session with something that you do enjoy, like a beverage that you enjoy. Now, I recommend that you try to make it healthy. Then the neurons that fire together wire together, and you begin to associate an activity that you need to do with that positive stimulus. So if you have like a certain tea that you like to drink, and you can create some sort of ritual around it with your studying, that can really help you stay more consistent. And then great sleep. Make sure you're getting plenty of sleep, because our brains, when we sleep, they consolidate short-term information into long-term information into the hippocampus of our brain, and sleep is essential to cognitive performance. So make sure you're investing in high quality sleep. Sometimes people like to use a lack of sleep as like some sort of badge of honor, but really you're serving nobody when you don't get enough sleep. And we need to have like a really healthy work-life type of balance. And then when you're going through your studying, and this is something I also learned from Andrew Huberman, was to consciously release dopamine. So when you're going through the difficult portion and you don't feel like studying, and you're kind of, it's like a slog and you're trying to get through it, then this is the time to remind yourself that you're doing great, to talk to yourself in a really positive way, to encourage yourself, to say really nice things to yourself. And so we've got to be our own cheerleader. And if we can speak to ourselves and consciously reward ourselves during the difficult portion, then we'll want to keep going. And then the next thing is earthing. So I had found this really great documentary about earthing, and all that is you just take your shoes off and go stand and walk around in dirt. And what this does is it helps you recalibrate your body and your entire energetic system, because our bodies are kind of like batteries, and they need to be recalibrated and recharged. And we've got all this electromagnetic frequency in the airwaves, with all of our technology, all of our computers, and we're going to be moving to 5G. We're not really sure how that's going to affect us yet. And a lot of people are reporting how difficult it is to stare at a screen and focus. And so it's really, really good if you're just feeling kind of off, and if you're sensitive to subtle energy, and some people are, and some people are a little bit less so, or if you're having chronic inflammation, one of the things that you can do is just take your shoes off and go stand outside. And if you have limited mobility, another thing that you can do is get an earthing pad to put under your feet. while you work at your desk. And there's also a blanket that you can use, and I'll see about finding some links to that. But that can be a really great way to soothe yourself, recalibrate your nervous system, and help you focus, because if you've been having a lot of brain fog. And another thing that you can do is, and this might seem obvious, but we need to set up our space as a way of priming. Now, priming is when we expose ourselves to one stimulus, and then that influences the next stimulus. So we expose ourselves to, or we are exposed to cues in our environment that is going to affect the next thing that we do. So look around your space, look around your work environment, and get it situated, get it organized, especially if you need to do some sort of editing or something that requires a lot of focus. Clear your desk of visual distraction and go for visual neatness, because I'm not recommending that you stop your study session to go clean your house, because sometimes that can become just a huge distraction and something that we do to kind of self-sabotage or to avoid doing the thing that we know we need to do. So just creating some visual neatness, like you can't see it here, but I set up my bed. That's been a big thing, because if I look out and I just see like my bed's all like messed up and not organized, while a messy environment can be helpful for thinking creatively, interestingly enough, when we need to focus, we need to get everything situated and organized, at least on a visual basis. And I found that that really helps me. Also, setting up space so that it's comfortable, because we need to know that we can be comfortable. Otherwise, that creates some sort of like nagging distraction. If our chair isn't comfortable or the room temperature isn't comfortable, then that's just one like kind of nagging distraction that can prevent us from really focusing. And also, maybe consider closing the door, setting up an arrangement with the people that you live with, and having really clear boundaries around your space and your time. Sorry about that. But having really clear boundaries around space and time, and having those things set up prior to trying to sit down and study and focus is really, really important. And aromatherapy is also really good. Like I have eucalyptus, and I plug in my oil diffuser every time I go to sit down and create these videos, and I found that that's really helping me prepare myself. Like I'm going to sit down, that's a cue, and it's via smell, so that's very powerful on our minds and our memories. So using aromatherapy to make your space comfortable, and also aromatherapy can be good for focusing as well. Different types of oils can really help sharpen our minds. So eucalyptus, peppermint, citrus, things like that can really help us focus. Or if we have a lot of tension and anxiety, maybe some lavender or something like that. And there's so many different essential oils. Maybe I'll do another video on that at some other point. And if you can make your environment controllable and pre-planned as much as possible, that will help you focus. And then the next thing is play different kinds of music. So I've written a post about this. I might make a video, but things like classical music, I think it's called the Mozart effect, where if you listen to Mozart and other classical music, it can help you see how different pieces of something all fit together. And I've been studying different types of engineering, and it's helpful for seeing these moving parts and how they all line up and integrate. And also binaural beats is great, and those will help you change your brainwave frequencies. And sometimes like just some light trance electronic type of music is great for me personally, because there's no words. I find that if there's like words, and I'll start singing along, and they'll remind me of something, and then that will kind of take me away from what I'm trying to study. So take that into consideration as well. And then consider nootropics. And I'm not an expert in nootropics. I'm not a medical doctor, but we can take different types of supplements, and those have a direct and immediate effect on our cognitive abilities. So do some research on that. And I think nitrogen, is one, and then cognizine is another one, and then also mushroom coffee is a really, really good one. And caffeine, obviously. I drink a lot of caffeine. I need to try some nootropics myself. So look into that. I found this site, bodybuilding.com, where this doctor's making some recommendations, and I recommend that. And then also consider your posture and your breathing. So when you sit down, it's just make sure you sit down, you're mentally prepared. My favorite coach and thought leader in the world, Tony Robbins, talks about how it's physiology first. So sit up straight, move decisively, move as if you're confident. Maybe consider getting a standing desk. Do some active learning, so your body's moving around and you're engaged. I mean, think about kids and how quickly they learn. They're engaged, they want to play, they want to get up and move around, and that really can help you process the information as well. And so sit up, make sure you're getting enough oxygen to the brain, and those are really helpful things. Oh, one more thing that I'm thinking of is, if you need to memorize the material, study it before you go into sleep, like right before you go to bed. And then also keep in mind that 20 minutes of testing and retesting yourself really helps you learn so much faster than just reading all the information. Because when we reread it, we have these illusions of learning as if we had learned, but it's only when we test ourselves, maybe have like a friend or a spouse or even your kids help test you on the material, and that will really, I think I read somewhere that it was like 20 minutes of testing is worth an hour of just rereading and studying over and over again. And then this whole video is really about how to prime yourself for the learning experience, but you can also prime yourself with positive self-talk, and even just thinking about things that you're grateful for, like a quick 5-minute jot down list of 5 things that you're grateful for. And when you do this, you are basically lighting up the dopamine circuitry in your brain, and this lights up your whole brain. So it's very helpful. And also, I think it was Tony Robbins who said that you can't feel grateful and afraid at the same time. So sometimes when there's a lot of anxiety, free-floating anxiety in the air, it's hard to sit down and just focus our mind. But if we can center ourselves in whatever thing that we can feel grateful about, that can really help us calm down, get centered, get focused, and really learn the material. So I hope that some of these ideas were helpful to you and gave you some things to think about before you start studying or dive into the work material in a course that you signed up for. Of course, if you need any additional support, check out my site. I think my rates are pretty affordable at eclecticcoach.com, and let's get you through the online course and applying it to something meaningful and important to you. Because when we learn new things, we feel a sense of mastery, and we also have the opportunity to experience flow, which is the optimal state that we can have in life. So I look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.